Since the beginning, as our secret weapon, he's been amazing since the pilot and has incredible ideas.
Parts of this are replacement parts from our roller coaster. Some parts are hand-hewn material from a Mennonite-built farm out in the valley.
See this behind my head where it's cut out? Well, it's also cut out down there. It's cut out every conceivable place that somebody that is 6'3" would hit their head, which is exactly what Jonathan Kent would have done. And when we were first doing the show and I saw that, I thought, who's the guy that did this? This is way above and beyond. And Rob is not over 6 feet tall. So how he knew, I have no idea. But Tom and I appreciate it every time we come in here.
When you find the right angles and the light comes streaming through the windows, it's amazingly beautiful. And after 3 years, directors continuously find new angles to shoot. And I love this set. I think it's beautiful, and I think it really evokes the aesthetic of the Midwest that the show takes place in. The loft and the Tollin and the Torch and the Kent Farm are all sets that pre-exist, and many of the scenes are written to those pre-existing locations. So that sort of takes care of half of an episode.
The Tollin was a labor of love. It was a big standing set that had to be built while we were already filming, which ended up putting a lot of pressure on us, and even the writers, because the writers had to change how we introduced it, so we just made it look like they were in the midst of painting. It took 3 episodes to actually get it done. It turned out quite well also.
Usually by the first or second day of prep, we'll have what we call a one-liner, and the one-liner lays out how we're going to attempt to execute the script.
We fought for something early on in season 1, which most shows don't have, which is we have 2 DPs. And what's good about that is most shows don't have the DP in prep. So, it does a couple things. It helps the DP and the director work out the shots, which we think makes it more efficient when they get to the set. And also, it gets the DP more involved in sort of the whole, creatively in the whole process.
We wanted this to look like a film each week.
I'm to help create the look of the show with Glenn Winter, who's the other DP, and work hand in hand with the director to tell the story visually. Part of it is our prep. We have special effect meetings and stunt meetings. John Wash and his gang in the digital world, and Mike Walls in the practical world.
We listen to what the director and the producers think their ideas are to wreck things and destroy things and have Superman save the world. We're standing beside the key gag for episode 66, which is a car getting flipped over by somebody punching the hood of it. Over here is the nitrogen cannon. This is the sleeve for the cannon. We'll mount this inside the back of the car. High-pressure nitrogen will be fired out of here using a button that Chris Sayer, the stunt driver, will use. And this is the Delron plug that will fire out the end of the sleeve when he pushes that button. Basically, it just pushes the vehicle up and away, and using the forward momentum of the vehicle, you'll get a forward travel of the vehicle, and it'll land on its roof. This hole in the floor is where the cannon will mount, and we do this and tie everything into the mount of the cannon so that the vehicle itself flies as a whole unit.
This season in particular, there was an episode called Hereafter, where we had probably the largest explosion that we've had on Smallville, and visually it was fantastic. A house that basically was there 1 second, and a split second later it was gone.
They don't do television-sized stunts on this show. They do feature-sized stunts. On Phoenix, which was, I think, our 2nd episode, we had a week on the show where, on a Monday, we crashed a superbike through a bank window. Threw a guy 25 feet into a wall. And then on the Tuesday, we did 120 squibs on Clark in front of the bank, where he just gets shot up by SWAT teams, and then we blew up a car in that sequence. We had stunt people diving out of the way, and then Thursday, we had a high fall 62 feet through glass. We smashed through a pillar. We threw Clark 30 feet into a scaffolding tower that collapsed on him. And then on the Friday of that same week, Clark jumped off a building 300 feet, stopping 6 feet off the deck. It was a crazy week, but really a lot of fun.
We go in for rehearsal, and all the different departments watch. The lighting department watches, the sound department watches, the folks with props watch.
And while that's happening, I'll be doing concept sketches, and my guys in the art department will be doing research on various ideas and locales and such.
Here is an illustration of a tank where we drop Clark into a giant vat of kryptonite.
Simply the chemistry that you associate with chemical light sticks. It is non-toxic because it's something that they hand out to kids at Halloween.
Clark, I need you to relax.
I get to sit and watch the director and the actors take this piece of paper and give it a life. That's my favorite part of movie making. To see that, how they develop that. And then after that, then we get to build.
We started off with a concept based on a location we saw where Lionel's in a high-tech prison cell having his head shaved. And this was the concept sketch in black and white that Scott did. We took that in the computer and put color into it. We had another glass box in another script that was being shot before this one, so we went to the idea that it would be a stainless steel high-tech chrome cage. From that point, we went over to Rob and the boys, and we ended up finding some steel mesh. Went from that stage to the drawing stage. And this is a cage which is 16 feet wide by
18 by 18.
18 by 18, roughly. And that's where Lionel's going to end up having his head shaved.
We also do illustrations for smaller items, in this case, a knife. Scott is bringing over here the actual
Some
early concept sketches of the knife itself.
In one instance, the knife is being stabbed into a character. You can't have an actor with a real knife, so we have a rubber version. There was also a version where Kryptonian script had to illuminate, so we had an LED electrical version of the knife.
Lastly, with regards to this knife, there's always the requisite green screen version for visual effects use.
Our visual effects people are phenomenal. John's up here a lot. He usually supervises on set. It's been a great experience with them because they always try to give us as much as they can.
We try and, generate the same kind of quality with limited resources and limited time.
The cast has really grown over the 3 seasons. Tom in particular, I think he has a lot more fun. I think he can bring a sense of danger to the character now, like he did when he was on Red Kryptonite.
I mean, look at that first episode, Exile. He's just
he's great.
Natural and fantastic.
Yeah.
Just on screen, his eyes just light up, and he completely possesses the screen.
I'm certainly not going to listen to you.
It's interesting. I had to kill somebody a little while ago, and that was so weird. Putting yourself in that position is really hard sometimes, and you just can't imagine, When would I, personally, Kristin, ever kill anybody? And and Lana's like that, she's never imagined doing that. So it's been interesting because I've been able to explore new things.
The actors are really the keeper of their characters. And again, in a collaborative effort, if they have issues or want to know where their characters are going, they give us a call, we talk about it, we try to give them guidance. We don't try to tell them too much because you don't want them to know too much about where the show is going.
I have to kill you too.
People always ask, when is Lex going to turn evil? He falls in love with the wrong women and he has the deceptive father, and then he's trapped on an island and someone tries to kill him, and these little moments build where finally Lex has nowhere else to go.
Michael Rosenbaum has put out a couple of incredible performances this year, especially in Shattered and Asylum, which are in the middle of the season, and I think the way the season ends is going to be quite a shocker for everyone.